changes. You don't need to hear the music.
Sorry, I just realized something.
Sorry?
I've been streaming completely muted earlier.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay, sorry.
No.
Anyway, Chao, we have Chao here, our first guest, and he's going to show us his game. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, so it was supposed to be a spiritual sequel to people in my chat are going oof. So it's a spiritual sequel to Apocalypse. It's a game about procedural destruction, like terrain destruction and stuff like that. And I wanted to make a very systemic game when I made Apocalypse. Unfortunately, it became more of an action-y kind of game, as you can kind of see. I still wanted it to be action-y, but like there was not enough systems interacting with each other, right? So for this game, the spiritual sequel, I wanted it to be much more on the systemic side. So everything kind of interacts with each other. Like for example, if I explode this barrel, it's gonna explode this other barrel, it's gonna drop down, etc., etc. And you can make plans, right? So like this cannon will shoot anything. It will shoot the player. Oh, this was inspired by your cannon, by the way.
Well, I mean, I just stole it from Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the lyric, Abang. But yeah, like so basically this thing can shoot out anything. Like I can go in and it will shoot me away.
That's great.
Anyway, like I can shoot this up and then it will shoot this thing and it will like basically keep shooting the saw blades, for example, like that. But then if you get the enemy inside it, right? Like let me see if I can. Oh, and the enemies of course interact with the saw blades. If you can get an enemy inside it, it will also start shooting the enemy, right? And if you can get an enemy inside it and like constantly bouncing, you can even like shoot it like this and then like kill the enemy in midair. Something like that. So I wanted to make a very systemic game inspired by Spelunky. Actually, Spelunky has a lot of a lot of elements that play well together. That like this thing happens, then this thing happens, then this thing happens. You know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Where you can kind of create a chain of like events happening. So let's go through some of the stuff that I've done specifically for this week. So actually, let me go to my git changes just to make sure. Let's see. Wow, very good descriptive updates. Yeah. So basically over the past week I've made quite a bit of progress on it. Actually, just to preface this, I've only been working on the gameplay for this because I've been working on the framework for quite a long time, right? I've been trying to get a destructive terrain down and everything. So actually, like for this stuff, most of the code in this was made over 2 weeks. Not counting the framework, of course. Like the cannons, the enemies, the saw blades, the explosive barrels were all done within the past 2 weeks. Yeah, so I've been trying to get this framework up so that I can have a bunch of stuff. So I'll just go through that since I think that's part of it as well, right?
Right. Yes.
So I have this thing called Chao framework. Very narcissistic of me, I know.
That's fine.
So there's like what was that again? Oh yeah, there's this thing I called where is it? Physics. Feesics. So physics is basically pixel perfect physics. So actually, if you see here, right, everything, all of this is 1 pixel. Like each pixel on the screen correlates to 1 pixel unit.
Okay.
So basically, like I round off the values, and I also utilize some stuff in Unity's physics managers to make it so that I have pixel perfect physics. So I can say, am I 1 pixel above the ground, right? So like in floating point, the normal box 2D floating point physics. Oh wait, people are reminding me I don't have my chatbot up. Sorry.
Okay.
In normal box 2D physics, right? There's floating point inaccuracies. So it's very hard to do that unless you have a very accurate epsilon, if that makes sense. But the thing is, with pixel perfect physics, you can just say, am I 1 pixel above? As you will know because you use like GameMaker, right?
Right.
So it's like very GameMaker-ish, right? So I can, it's mostly using AABBs, and then I took the physics stuff from this article by Matt Dawson on Celeste and Taoful. I think I linked it to you before.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like this is very useful, and then it also calls delegates and stuff, so I can actually do stuff like check whether it just collided or whatever. And in addition to that, I'm using some of Unity's physics. So the good thing about this physics thing is that it plays completely well with Unity's regular rigid body physics.
Okay.
So some of this stuff is rigid body, some of this stuff is my own physics.
So I have a quick question. You mentioned it's So I haven't actually had the time to read through the article you sent me, but you mentioned
Mhm.
it's all AABB, right? Does it mean you have one AABB per pixel?
No, no, no. I just so it's literally just a box. But the good thing is that since it plays well with the Unity physics, right? You can have polygon colliders, and you can
Okay.
have like anything you want. But those will only be updated on the fixed update, like the physics update.
Ah.
So the thing is, if it's for example with the walls, right? There's if you destroy the walls, it will be. Let me actually show you. Let me destroy this wall, and then let me show you this thing. Oh my, this is so horribly laid out. Okay, so you see the green lines, right?
Hmm.
These show the Polygon Collider. And this stuff, basically, I can still stand on perfectly fine. And I can still go up the slopes and all that. Because this stuff, I'm just using the ABB, and then after that, I'm checking it against the physics layer for the wall.
Ah.
But for dynamic objects, for example, if they're like, if I have another, player or whatever, and I want the player to jump on top of one another,
Hmm.
I can do that too. And that's the benefit of this over a raycast system. So if you look at raycast controllers for Unity, right?
Right.
Um, Platformer raycast controllers, right? Almost none of them have the ability to jump on top of one another. The reason being is that because of how the physics update works and a bunch of other stuff with like floating point problems.
Oh.
Yeah, so
This.
actually
Yeah.
pixel stuff is a lot easier. Sorry, you're
No,
saying?
I'm just saying this is all very fascinating because I don't use Unity, so a lot of this I don't actually know at all. That's very
Yeah,
cool.
actually Unity is quite for 2D, right? The physics, I mean, is workable, but like if you want very precise stuff, it is quite a pain. So if you want to use rigid body for the like, you shouldn't use rigid bodies for the player character, right? Because then you have less control.
Mm.
But at the same time, I want to use rigid bodies for some of the other stuff. That's why I made this small system. It's quite
Mm.
small. It's like just these three scripts basically. No, actually these two scripts, like physics, entity, and physics. This one is just a test controller.
Right.
But like yeah, it's becoming very very useful. So the other system that I have is this thing called whoa, that's I didn't want to open that. uh Here we go. Chao anim scriptable. There's this thing which I have which actually whenever I create an animation, right? In like a sprite. Have you heard of a sprite? You know about it, right? Like
Yes.
the yeah. So like if I for example I made this animation right now and I did something like I don't know like that and then like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I exported it into my project. Let me just save it in first. Is it this? Poop.asprite, very classy. Chiny.asprite, I guess. There you go.
Okay.
And then I exported a sprite sheet, and then I export a JSON file, which is required as well.
Mm.
I actually have all of the functionality from here. So actually I can extend the duration of each animation and I actually process the JSON thing. So if I process it right now, oh wait, for serious URLs can only use. Oh yeah, I'm in play mode, sorry. So you
Okay.
process this right now. See that? You can see that the animation is immediately imported in, which
Mm.
so this stuff is my own thing. But the good thing about this is that if you have like for example a sprite renderer, and then you also have the Chao and Nim player, and then I just typed in chiny. The problem is that like right now I didn't set the pixels per unit, so it's very small.
Mm.
Let me actually change that right now. So, but the thing is, you can actually see it like in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very, very useful for this. And also, as you can see, I had to go in and actually change it, but I can actually modify all of the post-processing as well. So I can actually make it so that it will automatically change it to 1 or 100 in terms of pixels per unit, or make it like point filtering or whatever I want. I just
Mm.
didn't do that because I wanted be flexible in case I wanted like different sizes and stuff.
Right.
Um, yeah, so those are the two systems so far. Oh, oh, thank you for the New Year's wishes, Jaren. So those are the two systems so far. These come in very, very useful. I did a jam recently, and the animation system was a lifesaver,
Mm.
because normally, let me show you the normal process, right, for importing animations to Unity.
Okay.
What you normally do, right, is you create yeah, I'll just try to go through it really fast, but actually it usually takes quite a while. So you do this, and then so for example, you have an animation like this, right? Let me just put it outside. So for example, testing animation.asprite. I'll just revert all this back later on. So if I exported this animation right now, it will, and I have the JSON. I don't need JSON data because it won't export to anything. It will, see, as you can see here, right, it's just one sprite. So you actually have to go into sprite editor. You have to go to multiple, right? You have to go in sprite editor. You have to slice it up. Say okay. So this is the same as game maker, right? So far, I think. So 32 by 32, and then you slice it, and now you got two of these, and then after that, okay, that's all good. And then you got these two, then you put them in, then you create an animation. The problem is that when you create the animation, right, because it's made for 3D, it will interpolate between them, and it will have an exit time. So it
Right.
won't be a perfect like change in animation, which is, unless you code it yourself inside the script, it becomes very cumbersome. And also you have to do this every single time. So every single time you have to drag it in, you have to make the animation. If you're changing the number of frames, you have to re-import everything, etc., etc. It becomes very cumbersome. And also you have to import once you make the animation, right, you have to drag and drop it into the inspector in order to be able to use it.
Right.
Yeah, so it becomes very time consuming. So you saw how fast it was to import that animation. So it actually saves like potentially it saves like about 5-10 minutes per animation, which is insane given like the amount of animations that I'll end up creating.
Then how do you change to a different set of animation?
Oh, as in like in terms of in the script or
Yeah.
like
Or is it doable through the inspector? Like
it
default
is
animation
doable.
chiny. Okay.
Yeah, it's doable through the inspector. It's also doable in script,
Ah.
because I wrote my own animation player for it. So it's and also I can do other stuff like destroy and finish. But like I can do other stuff like if I wanted to, for example, I can have a secondary animation that will play afterwards, stuff like that.
Nice, nice. This is very handy.
Yeah, it is like it's super useful because like okay, so previously I had a system, right,
Mm.
where once I import the thing, it will immediately like just do it for me. I don't have to click process.
Mm.
But Unity broke it. With one of the updates. So because they changed the structural layout of one of the sprite metadata classes,
I
and
see.
I'm just like I can't do anything about this, and I can't get around it either for some reason. Like they made some of the stuff hidden, so I couldn't even change it so that like it accommodates the new metadata class. So I
Mm.
had to just like make this janky button that I just click, which isn't that bad, I guess.
Yeah, it's still
Um,
very handy. It's still very convenient.
yeah, it's still very convenient. And yeah, like I said, it's all written to a dictionary, so it's, I mean, it's not the most efficient, but it's fair. It's efficient enough that it doesn't matter.
Mm, mm.
You know, like it's not a string on string comparison, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah, it's all written at the start, and then after that, it just compares it to the dictionary. Okay, there's one more system that I made recently. This one was a recent system.
Mm-hmm.
So in I don't know how you do playtesting builds for your side. I like Game Maker. There's no. Is there an automatic build system in Game Maker? Or
Automatic
like,
build system. What do you mean by that?
yeah, I should clarify. Sorry. What I mean is like so I created these buttons called build, upload, and build and upload, right?
Right.
I actually upload my stuff to itch.io for playtesters, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that, okay, let me show you the actual like how I normally do it. So I'll go to there, I'll build it out. So this is just normal, just building out to Windows. Once it uploads to Windows, I will zip up the entire thing. Like I'll zip out all of the files.
Yes.
I will drag and drop it into itch.io in the inspector.
Mm.
Not inspector, sorry, the web app, right? I
Right.
have to drag and drop the files in, and I have to update everything so that it's made sure for Windows. And I have to save it. That takes about 5-10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Approximately,
Yeah.
more or less. So if I click this, right, you see this
Yes.
build and upload button. Oh, you hit Control W, Control U. So it's gonna, okay. Well, I'll just let it run
You
first.
automate
So right
everything.
now, yeah, I automated everything. So I build it, but
Nice.
not only that. No, not only that.
Okay.
I said it will take 5-10 minutes, right, for like the zipping, for the uploading, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Look at how fast this does it, and this not because that's not completely my creation either. I'll explain afterwards. Okay, so this thing called Butler.
Uh-huh.
Butler is the itch uploader. Okay, you see how fast that built out? There were
Mm.
changes in there, by the way. This is not a new build. This is completely new build. But I uploaded in about 3 seconds.
But what
So the
about
reason why,
Sorry, sorry. Yes.
Sorry.
I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wondering what about your store description and all this stuff.
Start description and all that. So I can actually automate that as well, but I haven't done that yet.
Ah,
Right now I just upload a new build of it, but I can actually upload version stuff and all that. The reason why is because okay, so I'll go through the firstly how it goes does it so fast.
mm,
The reason it does it so fast is because I'm actually only I keep like Butler keeps a cache of the files that were stored and uploaded. In other words, you can check for the difference using like a WinMerge kind of thing where you can check for a diff, right?
mm,
And we'll only upload a diff. So
right.
all of your assets are not uploaded again. So it's like 3 seconds and it's uploaded. So right now there's already an updated build on itch.
Mm.
So in like about 20 seconds or so, I can have like an uploaded build on itch. And if
Ah.
people have it on itch and they have the itch app, they can immediately playtest because itch app automatically updates.
Oh, that's nice. But how do you
So
go about
it's like
setting this
yeah.
up? That's really
Oh yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So let me explain that as well.
Oh,
So I have this build script, right,
yes.
that I partially stole online. This part I partially stole. I mean, it's just literally just build player, right?
Mm,
This is the part I stole. But the part that I was like, oh, I can do this is that build player actually waits for the thing to finish building, right?
right.
So if I do this and I do this, it will wait for this and then it will do this. It won't do it like immediately. So I actually found that in Unity you can actually do command line command. You can do command line stuff.
Mm,
So I literally just do this. I literally just push all this stuff in, and because Butler has access to Twitch API,
right.
itch API, not Twitch API, itch API,
Right.
I can actually go okay. I can update certain versions, or I can do a change log or whatever I want. And if in the event that I cannot do it with Butler, I can just use there's this stuff in Python which I can actually use to automate web requests.
Mm.
If that makes sense. So it'll be actually really easy for me to just do automatic updates if I wanted to like a change log or like to versions or whatever. And and it's really useful. I mean, this is not really 500 IQ Galaxy brain, right? It's like literally just built and then after that, but it saves a lot of time. It saves
It's super cool. I'm not even
uh,
sure if this is available to me in GameMaker, to be honest.
I mean, it is like I mean, you can just build it and then like click a batch script or something that does
The
this.
thing is, I'm how do I put it? Uh, you've noticed how for my levels, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
certain data that I needed to retrieve from the level files, and I have a batch file. So I have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
manually click the batch file. I have no idea how to automate it from within
Oh,
GameMaker.
I
Yeah,
see, I see, I see.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I
S-
wonder if that's possible, but so far I
That is
haven't seen.
possible. I
It
mean,
is.
it is possible, but then like the reason I know that it's possible is because GM Edit actually has a module for compilation. So if you're able to link it to
Oh,
the compilation in GM Edit, which might I'm not sure how hard that will be, but it's definitely possible.
I
You
see.
can
I see.
yeah, because once you let me try to find the exact thing I'm talking about. Gem Edit, right? There's this compile module.
Mm.
So let me here it go, builder. It's called builder. Um save upon compile. Yeah, so if you're able to actually link it to this, which you can. Okay, you can because it's literally just a JS file. Yeah, you can. You can just add another if you know JS, you can they're using Electron app. So you can literally just do another command to do like an additional batch file, and then after that we'll just do it. Oh, and thanks for the shout outs,
Oh.
guys. Sorry I'm not replying in chat much. Sorry about that. But yeah, like you definitely can do it.
I see. So
If
wait, does it mean I need what? I need GM edit to do this?
Oh yeah, I use GMEdit. I can't
Ah,
remember if you don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I see.
But
I see.
GMEdit is really good. It's really really good.
Right.
It's like for me I couldn't edit in GM without GM edit because it makes things so much more convenient. There's like not only is there like this is a bit off topic from my thing, but I just wanted to show you like not only is there like existing uh editing functions for the game maker stuff,
Mm.
but there's also like syntax extensions and plugin support, and of course there's Vim support as well.
Oh,
So
yeah, I see.
there's a lot more stuff. Like it's crazy. Oh yeah, the
I
Vim
see.
support is mainly why I use it. To be honest, I'm addicted to Vim.
No, I know Vim users like to like inject Vim into everything they use.
Oh yeah, man! Like I have a keyboard, right, and a programmable keyboard, and I just like tried to inject Vim into that, like hardware wise, which was like a pain, but like got it kind of working.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, like oh yeah, so those are the three systems that I mainly did, and there's like one more system that I wouldn't call it a system, like you see this tile map, right? I'm using this extension called Super Tile Map Editor, right?
Mm.
And it's really cool. It's really cool. I recommend anybody who has Unity and makes platformers to get it because it just makes making levels very easy. Um, because you can program, it's very extensible also. So you can actually do stuff like create brushes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That actually extend out and actually use matching squares to figure out what tile they're gonna be. So I don't have to
Ooh.
draw any of this stuff. Yeah, I don't have to draw any of this stuff. And the destroyer, right? For you know how when I destroy stuff, it goes like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can just destroy it from the tile map editor, and it'll be super efficient because they do use chunking.
Mm.
So actually, I did my own. I made my own system that is exactly like this.
Right.
Then I was like, why am I doing this? I mean, I could just use this, like because I did my own system. I had chunking, I had like the marching squares, I had everything. I
Uh-huh.
was like, why am I doing this?
But
I could just use this existing
but
system.
if you have already done it, why not just keep it?
The reason why is because this one has a few more features on top of it. For example, you can program certain brushes that you want specifically.
Oh.
Like you can do like you see this, right? You see this terrain stuff inside the dirt, right?
Yeah.
This stuff is like random brushes. So like if I do it, it will have a random chance of appearing.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's cool. It's really cool. And that's because you know why? You can actually connect a brush to another brush. So like if you have a brush, right? Let me give you an example. So for example, I have my terrain thing, right?
Yeah.
You see this, right? This thing is a random brush. So this thing is actually this brush. And this brush has a probability of being this, or this.
Mm.
And then I can just put that brush inside here. So I can basically make the entire thing random, or I can make it like mechanical, or I can make it anything.
Oh, that's really powerful.
Yeah, it's really powerful, and Super Timer Editor has a bunch of other functions as well, and it's very optimized because they've been working on it for quite a while. So I was like, yeah, just use it. Don't want to like just
Oh, that's great, right? I think resourcefulness is like super important when it comes to
yeah.
meeting deadlines, right?
I
Yeah.
think it's like important to remember that like we're game developers and we're not necessarily like programmers like John
Mm.
Carmack or something. Like like we're
I,
not because you know
yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, we need to make the game, right? We need to deliver the game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was reading like the Spelunky source code recently, and I kind of like realized that oh, he just did what he needed to make it work.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was reading the source code again, yeah.
Have you heard about the recently 6V's the developer
Oh yeah,
Tyler
yeah. I
Kevin?
read the source code also, yeah.
Didn't he have like thousands of if statements?
He had a 200 line switch statement. 200 or 300, I can't remember.
I forgot, yeah, but I
Who
think it's
cares?
amazing.
Nobody's gonna see that.
Yeah, exactly. No one cares. Yeah.
No one cares. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. And it
Yeah.
was a great game. That's the thing, right?
Mm, exactly.
Like a Spelunky. When I read the source code, it was like he did a lot of ingenious things. So he was obviously not bad at coding. He
Mm,
just wanted to get more done. Although there were some parts where there was a lot of copy paste stuff, but like in Game Maker, he was using Game Maker 8, I believe.
right.
So at the time, there was no some of the convenience features that we have in Studio.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, but yeah, let me just show off the level and some of the stuff I made.
Okay.
So just okay. So there's this rocket that I made that like I forgot to put in the level actually. So I just accidentally put it in, and it's supposed to kill me. Yeah, but then after that I made it before I made the player death, so I haven't put in that in yet. And then there's explosive barrels. There's like the cannon. And there's like, of course, there's enemies, but there's actually one other enemy. So there's this enemy that I just remembered that I forgot to put this enemy in.
Uh
Oh no, I put too much, I made too much stuff and then forgot to just put it in the actual level.
huh.
So there's this enemy who looks like the Among Us character. I know everyone tells me that.
Right.
So it shoots at you, right? But if you, so this is unintended. This is unintended. But like if you, do you see that? I knocked away his
Did
bullet.
you do it again?
Like let me try again. is unintended. I didn't program that. I didn't necessarily program that in. I just made a very general use case.
Right,
Like let
you
me
you
try that
deflected
again.
his bullet or something?
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, like that.
oh, I see, I see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, but like, I love that kind of thing where like even the programmer doesn't like doesn't anticipate what's gonna happen in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like so many emergent systems that like when I didn't even realize that I could deflect the bullets.
Mm.
Until somebody said that I was accidentally deflecting them. I was like, wait, what? How's that working? I didn't program that in. But I realized I did. I did program that in. It's just that I made it very general and I
Mm.
made it so that it will affect a lot of things. So that's the design philosophy for my game this time. I want to make it very systemic.
Mm.
Like it's kind of like a roguelike, right? Like roguelikes, not apart from the procedurally generated stuff, right? There's this philosophy where they have stuff interact with stuff in general, right?
Right.
So like if this thing is a human or this thing is a monster, if this thing is a living being, then do this thing on it. Don't care if it's a human, don't care if it's a monster, don't care if it's whatever. So that's why I think Spelunky is one of the more pure roguelikes because it also subscribes to that model, and that's why I'm getting inspiration from her. So I was
Mm.
like, this thing, if it shoots a bullet, well, the bullet is a moving object, so I should be able to deflect it. Any moving object, I should be able to deflect if it has a rigid body. The only problem is that right now, some of that stuff does not actually follow it because this stuff, like this sublet, is using a rigid body, but it's also using my physics entity stuff. So I need to fix that. But that's basically a bug. Everything should be affected by a base set of rules. Is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. That's
And
cool.
I think that's like a very fun way to make a game, right? Because like, uh, the good thing about it is like it's a Rube Goldberg machine that you can't anticipate.
Mm. Mm.
Does that make sense? Like the for example, right? The cannon, right?
Yeah.
When I made this part, right, I didn't expect that this was gonna happen.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I didn't expect that this was going to go like this, then like that, then like that. Then after I killed the enemy while the enemy was in the air. But it makes sense. It's like if you think about it and like you're like, okay, if the enemy is here and he's jumping up and down, if I shoot this down here, here and here, and it hits the enemy's gonna die. It makes
Right.
sense,
Yeah.
yeah. But you don't necessarily like think about all the situations when you're developing the game or level, I guess. Because even in this level, right? When I actually released it for playtest, right? So I made this level quite fast. I made it in about an hour to 2 hours just to like get something thing to for people playtest, right?
Mm.
That's why there's no like there should be a lava pit down here, but there's no lava pit. Um, but like for example, right? The intended way to kill the enemy here, right, is to jump up here, then bait him into either this or this. But
Okay.
then but then actually he can go into here also. And I was like, wait, that's cool. Then I just moved it in here. But
Okay.
then and then I realized that people did not necessarily do that. So some people actually just go here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just do this. And then just kill him like this. And then he get killed by it. Like and I was like, I did not even foresee like players doing that.
Mm.
So it's like
Mm.
yeah, but it makes sense.
It does, it does. It's super cool.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the sense of discovery you have with when you play Breath of the Wild. Like notice that,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I didn't realize I can just throw my sword in the middle of a thunderstorm, and the sword can actually attract lightning and kill enemies. So it's
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that, right? The kind of sense of
Yeah, yeah.
discovery.
Yeah, that's exactly the example that I was gonna say, like the when it rains, right? And then
Mm.
after that it like I think like after some weather conditions stuff can get drier,
Mm.
it can catch on fire faster, stuff like that.
Mm. Mm.
And it's a scaled down version of that. Like I like systemic stuff. I'm a big fan of it, but I've never had a chance to be able to make a systemic game. The way I always tried to do it, but like this one came out organically, I guess, because I was just like looking at a lot of this kind of stuff, and then after that it just came about without me even really aiming for it. But now that I know that it is becoming like this, I'm actually doing a lot of research into immersive sims and like systemic games, Breath of the Wild, Spelunky, Deus Ex, all this
Mm.
stuff. And I've been trying to like gather design inspiration from that. For me personally, programming isn't the hard part of game development. Neither is art. I think
Okay.
design is the hardest part by far for me.
Ah. So while
Cut-
we're on the topic
Yeah.
of design, you don't mind if I
Mhm.
ask you about like your the level design itself? The game you mentioned is going to be level based, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be level
So
based.
so like, what do you actually have to achieve within the level itself?
Okay, so so to preface what the answer to the question, right?
Yeah.
The game is about is going to supposedly be about gangsters,
Right.
like mutant gangsters, right? So I'm gonna be basing things around that. Like I kind of want like missions where you assassinate certain people, or you have to kill everyone in the section, or you have to save hostages. Those kind of missions,
Mm.
or you have to get some intel or something like that. Like undercover kind of like missions, where you have to like wreak havoc of some kind. Also, people redeemed are where, and apparently when people do it on my channel, I have to say where. So where? That's sorry. That's kind of disruptive to you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Uh, uh, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, I think so. So basically, those are the kind of missions I'm gonna try to do. But the one that I find the most interesting, right, is actually the hostage missions.
Right.
The reason why, right, is because of the cannons and all the stuff, right? You realize that there's like a lot of interesting scenarios you can have with the hostages where you can't kill them, but you have to kill the enemies, and you have to deliver the hostages to a safe spot.
Right.
So maybe you can't kill the hostages, right? But you can push them around, or you have to push a treasure around, or something like that. So imagine if there's like a bunch of cannons and you have to teleport the hostage over to the location that you want.
Right.
It just goes left and right and stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the same appeal as like Splunky. There's like the dogs or the what's the term for it? The lady in this like the damsel in distress. That you have to get to the end of the level and they offer you a kiss and then you get health. Is the same kind of a mechanic. It's like you have to protect something, and I
Right.
think that's a good alternative to just destroying everything in the level, which is what I seem to be encouraging. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to destroy everything, but like there's a problem with that because like I was playing Broforce recently, right, which was the original inspiration for Apocalypse,
Uh-huh.
and like I was just like, wow, I'm destroying everything, but I have no idea what's going on because I can just destroy everything. There's not
So
really any like
there's no strategy, right?
there is a bit of strategy in that you would want to kill yourself by destroying everything, but
Mm.
generally speaking, you'll just be destroying so much stuff that you can't really see what's going on. I want this to be a bit more tactical than that.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Ah, super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like super fun to make this game also. So I'm like, it's a joy to work on, because like the thing is now that the framework is done, it's actually very fast to add in stuff.
Mm.
So I got a bit. I have this txt file called. Let me just. Oh yeah, what the txt file is called list of shit to do.txt. So wait, let me. I actually got some recommendations. So there's like fog to obscure enemy vision, and then switches, the trigger stuff, and grappling stuff. Oh yeah, this is the feedback.
Mm.
So like, oh yeah, conveyor belts and like stuff that stomps like in Mario, like all this stuff, right? Like if you think about it, right, with the framework that I have for the items and stuff, each of these can probably be done in less than a day.
Mm.
So I can probably get maybe half of all of this features done by next week. So that's actually my
Awesome.
goal. Yeah,
Awesome.
so
Awesome.
that's my goal. Yeah, I'm like, man, I'm like going really fast right now, so I can't keep the momentum going. So I'm like, it will be cool if like I could get most of these features in by next week.
I noticed an Arcanoid boss.
Okay, no, yeah. So it's like people notice that you could hit back things, right?
Mm.
Yeah. That's
Ah.
it. Yeah, so like basically there's this huge boss up here, right? And after he shoots up at you and you're like just like pow pow pow, and it just like explodes the level around you.
Oh
But
man.
if it hits the ground, right, it will explode the ground, so you'll be in danger.
Ah. Oh yeah, that's
So
super cool.
it's a very dynamic boss idea. I like that a lot.
Mm.
And also like in the next week, I was thinking of doing more pixel art to make the game look nicer, but I don't think it's like I just want to work on mechanics right now, to be honest. Because I
Mm.
think that's much more important. Since I might have to change the aesthetics because of mechanics. I'm more of some people are more of like an aesthetics kind of driven developer, but I'm more of a mechanics driven developer, which is obvious when you see my other works.
Mm.
It's it's all very mechanics driven. So I wanted to get most of this stuff out, make some cool levels, and then after that, maybe put in a story. There was this game called Starfetchers, which had a very cool story about two gangsters trying to like uh, make it up to the top of a tower.
Right.
And I wanted to get that feel also. And also, there's this game called Deadbolt. Have you heard of it? It's by the creator of Risk of Rain.
Yes, yes, I've heard of it. It's the one where
Yeah.
you kind of infiltrate a house, right, and then kill everyone
Yeah,
inside.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's so cool. Like the ideas behind that game were really, really, really good. It's made in Game Maker also, by the way.
Hmm.
Um, uh, and the guy made everything in MS Paint. Just an
What?
aside. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to talk to the developer.
Oh man, that's
Um,
amazing.
uh,
MS Paint.
so yeah, MS. So he was like telling me that he drew it in MS Paint.
All the animations, every
Um,
single frame. It's done.
Risk of Rain also. Risk of Rain was done in MS Paint.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Um, but yeah, like that kind of like emergent systemic gameplay is what I want to go for. But I don't want it to be as slow as that game. I want it to be like a mix of Deadbolt and Broforce, if that makes sense. I don't
Right.
want it to be as crazy as Broforce to the point that you can't tell what's going on, which I do love. I love Broforce, but sometimes it gets a bit noisy. It's a bit hard to tell what's going on. But I don't want it to be as slow and like methodical as Deadbolt. I want it to be kind of an in between, all right?
Hmm.
Which I think can be even more like crazy than both of them. It's just crazy in a different way.
Right. Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's looking very, very
Yeah.
good already. It's amazing.
I think right. Okay, so just to sum up my part, I think that over the next week I will be doing, like I said, these mechanics. But the reason why is because I think that if I have more stuff to play with, I can make more crazy kind of levels, and that will give me more feedback on the general uh, way the game works. Also, one more thing I want to work on is whether I'm going to make it so that you can destroy enemies without pushing them into things. What do you think, actually?
Make it such that you can destroy enemies without pushing them into things.
Yeah, right
I
now you
yeah.
can only kill them by doing stuff like this.
Right. But you want a more direct way of allowing the
Yeah.
player to kill the enemies?
Mm-hmm.
Mm, hmm. Well, I
So
feel like
there's
it can go either way, right? I think both way
yeah, yeah.
works. But how do I put it? I guess if you were to have a direct way of killing enemies, then you
It
have to
validates the current ones.
not just that. You have to think
Yeah.
about what is the cons to that. Like in Zelda, they made all the
Mm-hmm.
swords super weak, right? They break after a while,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
there's a
yeah,
reason why they do that. So what would be
yeah,
yours,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes. So the pros of it is that like that you don't get into these weird situations where you can't kill the enemies, right?
Ah.
But unfortunately, there will be a design flaw on my part, so it's kind of a band-aid. Um, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. The cons of it is that it might just make people just kill them, directly instead.
Right.
Uh, but here's my solution to that. I was gonna make it a very short range attack, a punch.
Mm.
Basically, it's like or a dash punch, right? Like, so you kind of like still have a movement to it. You have some risk to it, and it's short range. So it's like it won't be. You still need to push them around and stuff.
Right.
It's a very last endeavor kind of thing. Like it's kind of like something that you turn to as a last resort. You can't kill them.
Right.
I was thinking that might work, but I'm not sure.
It could.
I guess
It's worth
yeah,
definitely worth testing, right? Definitely worth
yeah,
testing.
yeah. I think it wouldn't take me too long to do, so there's no excuse not to try it, I
Mm.
guess.
Didn't you already have some kind of a frog melee game thingy?
I did. And it should be yeah, the thing is I can literally just put that in here. So it should but I mean of course the code is a little bit different, so I have to
Ah,
it'd probably be easier to just put a trigger box and then I just do it from scratch per se.
right,
Which is
right.
not really from scratch because it's gonna take like like half an hour to do properly. Um but yeah, like I was thinking more from a design perspective because there's a bunch of ways that you can attack. It's like I was like, which one should I try out? Because there was like let me see if I have a list. Oh yeah, I was thinking of like Goomba stomping because that would be like you have to have verticality. And I was thinking like a limited ammo gun like Deadbolt, but I don't really like that idea because it gives the same problem, right? It's like you run out of ammo and you run out of things to hit them into. What do you
Then you get
do?
stuck again, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah,
like
that's
you will
true.
never get truly stuck. You'll never get truly stuck because I intend to make the level so that you can never get truly stuck. But it's still a pain if like it's harder to kill the enemies. You know, like what's fun about this game? What's fun is like getting all the stuff to interact with each other, right?
Yeah.
What if there's less stuff to interact with? You know, like then it's not as fun.
Yeah.
So having to bait the enemies all the way to an area just to kill them, or like killing 6 enemies in a row by moving them over to one saw blade is kind of like it's just boring.
Hmm.
You know, it might
True.
be hard to do, but it's boring. Yeah. So that's basically my side. Let me see if there's anything else that I am missing. I don't think there's anything. I wanted to also possibly integrate some design patterns into the game, command pattern specifically,
Ah,
because that will make it so that it will be a lot more
manageable.
modular.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I
So
see.
like that's normally used in roguelikes, but I'm pretty sure I can use it in this as well.
Hmm.
And oh, I already did this. Hey, hell yeah. That's on my to do, like make an automated build system. I did it already.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All
That's
right.
cool.
So yeah, that's all from my side. Oh, sorry I took so much time.
No, it's all
Like I
right.
think I took up
It
like
actually I mean, it's a good thing that you went on about what you have done. One of the
mm-hmm.
reasons being I don't really have much to talk about.
Oh no. You wanna share your screen so that I can show on my side?
Okay. So does it mean it's my turn?
Unless wait. Let me just think about this. Like just give me like 1 minute. Let me think about like whether there's anything else I missed. Which there
Okay.
probably is because I did a bunch of stuff over the past 2 weeks. Uh, I mean, nah, not really. Like, I think there's like some stuff to like, make stuff faster. But like other like some tools that I did, but I think those are very very small, and not really worth talking about.
Ah,
Yeah, I think that's it off on my side. Actually,
that's
yeah,
cool. That's cool. That's super cool. That's super cool. Look forward to
yeah,
seeing more.
nice.
Okay, if you
Yeah,
just give me a moment.
sure.
You just
Oh,
whoa whoa.
whoa. Okay, let me bring in the window. Whoops.
Okay. I neglected to check the chat. Oh, Abang Long is here. Hey, thanks for the lurk. Hello, Jofer. Uh, Amanda has some nice words to say. Chao works
Ooh.
much faster than Chini. Well, thank you, Amanda. Thank you.
Oh no.
Okay, hang on. Let me
Don't,
share my screen. No,
don't
it's
worry, my
true
code
though.
is terrible.
No. It's true though. I work at a snail's pace. Hang on, eh?
Yeah, but you're a professional developer.
No, I'm still struggling, right, with trying to make a living out of games. So I wouldn't. I mean, what's the definition of professional?
I actually at this point I have no idea. People have all sorts of definitions.
Yeah. Okay. Hang
Yeah,
on. Just give me a moment. So
sure.
I legitimately don't have a lot to talk about. Primary. I mean, for the past week, I spent most of my time trying to wrap up uh the grading from my part-time job.
Oh,
Yeah. But I did manage to spend a bit of time working on the UI, which I'm going to show in a moment.
oh, nice.
If you just give me a moment.
Sure, take your time.
Okay, there we go. I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Hang on. Am I? Oh, I'm sharing.
Yeah, here you are.
Okay. So you're able to see, right? Okay. So
Yep.
so I mean, you know what my game is about already, right? So it's a one-button
Yeah.
platformer, and so on and so forth. Like I can quickly run through like a basic level. Let's see, 34. Right. So the game it's pretty much automated. The character just walk left and right, and all you have to do is to press the jump at the right time.
Yep.
Right. There are various mechanics like keys. You have to collect the keys to reveal the door.
Yeah.
There are disappearing blocks and so on and so forth. Okay. Now with that out of the way, for this week, all I've managed to do is there's this thing, right? Like I struggle with art, right? It takes me a long time to get the game to look the way I want it to look, and
Yeah.
I don't have an artistic training, so a lot of times it's just a trial and error. So
Right.
one of the concern I've had with this game for a long time is how plain it looks. You know, like if you look at it from afar, right? It's it's just blue. The whole thing is blue. There's nothing really standing out. So
Yeah.
one of the thing I did was I tried adding a noise filter on top of it. I'm not sure if you can see.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I thought it would make it look a bit classier. So I'm just trying out a few things, right, and seeing what sticks.
Right.
So this is one of the things that I'm going to do. Eventually, right? Eventually, I'm going to start adding more doodads. So stuff like the same tag behind my jiggling pudding, right? It's applied here to the grass, so I will be using the grass
Very nice.
on
Yeah.
on more of the levels as well. Yeah, that's one thing. Another thing that I've worked on is the UI. So notice previously all my buttons were not labeled. So you
Right.
don't really know, like if I just show you the screenshot like this, right, and the numbers are not around, then you don't really know what world you're at. So this is the world selection screen. You click on the world,
Yeah.
you're brought to the level selection. Each world consisting of 9 levels. Now,
Right.
there is I tried to make the label, right, the number representing which word it is. I tried to make it a bit more fancy. So if you notice, as I scroll down, as I scroll from the top to the bottom, you can see there is a path that the label is taking. I kind of want it such that as you scroll to the center, right, the label here will get closer to the button, and then as you scroll down, right, it goes further away. So there is a path like this.
Oh, I
Right.
see. I see. I
There's a
see.
path like this, and it's I'm not sure if I'm spending time on stuff that is like mundane and doesn't really matter I mean, generally, like, doesn't matter, like, why am I doing it this way? But I just thought it's fun, right, to try and
Yeah.
apply it the way I did. So if you just give me a moment. So there is a essentially, maybe I'll talk about the implementation a bit. It's really simple though, right? Stuff like this, we have learned from Math 140, right, and as well as from Prasanna as well. Yeah, it's a lot of fun times. It's fun times, right?
Sometimes.
Fun times. Do you remember the linear interpolation
Yeah.
thing, right? This one, S minus R, this one, right? This is what we use all the time. It's super fun.
Yeah.
And essentially, I have to use this here, right, to try to map the different ranges. So that's the interpolation right there. What I've done is, if we look at the sine function, sine t, we have this, right? This is 0 and this is pi. So what I want is, I want this shape.
Yeah.
Which I used, right? I mapped this shape to the top and bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially, I have like 2 ranges. 2 ranges being that I have the top of the screen, right? This is in GUI space. So top is 0, 0 to the bottom of the screen, which is a H, right? And then I have to map this range to 0 to pi. So a number like H over 2 will get mapped to pi over 2, essentially. So that was done, and then how do I put it? I then pass this number into the sine function, and then multiply by an amplitude, which is the offset, right? The maximum offset.
Which in this case is a small number, right?
It's a very small number.
5 pixels.
About there. I realized that when I make the number a bit too big, right, so the curve is super obvious, it looks very, very, very weird. So subtlety subtlety turns out to be very important here. Yeah. So and then from there, right, I map the offset away from the button to the opacity. So that's why it fades out, then back in, and back out again.
I see.
So again, right, I'm not entirely sure if I'm overcomplicating things.
Well,
But
I mean, when I saw it, this was exactly how I thought you did it. So I don't think it's overcomplicating it. Although for me, right, I would actually I'll probably like mess with a power of the sign.
power
Like
of the
I'll like
sign. Ah, you want to
I'll
change the
actually use
shape a bit?
power of because then it wouldn't like necessarily make the amplitude higher or whatever. It would just change the shape of it a little bit, and that might make it look more natural.
I see. Wait, what would the shape end up looking like? Let's see, power of the sign. So if I
Yeah.
were to multiply this by itself,
Mm-hmm.
what would happen? Let's see. What would happen actually? What would the shape look like?
It will
It would
basically be
change
a
the
lot.
gradient, right? Is it?
Yeah, it will change the yeah. It will change the gradient, but it wouldn't change like the actual
Like the amplitude is still here. It's still one, right?
yeah. It's
Hmm.
like it will like if you like you mentioned like a square root or like power of two, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll basically flatten things out. It will flatten things out or it'll make it more of a peak. Does that make
Right.
sense? Yeah. So I use
Maybe.
those kind of
Yeah.
things. I use those kind of things when I'm trying to get an interpolation that I want to, in this case, like maybe flatten it out towards the top. Then I
Flattening it
use
out
the
towards the top. So like
yeah.
this. Wait, actually, can't really. I can't visualize it at the moment. Yeah, but I guess hang on. Can we throw it into Wolfram Alpha?
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah. Let me you want me to do it on my screen or you want to do? Oh yeah,
Oh,
okay, got it.
okay. You mean like sine t times sine t, right? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the square of it.
And also you can do a squirt of it. See
Hmm.
how the peak is much more like defined. If you do a squirt of it, well, square root. Sorry, I keep saying squirt. Like,
Square root. Square root. Okay.
yeah, square root of like 70.
How do I sqrt, right?
SQRT. Yeah,
Sqrt.
and then you do that. It should give you if I'm correct, it should give you
Like
a,
this.
yeah. But then like if you do a power of like even wait, is that correct? Yeah. If you do a power of even less, right? Like
Power
tau of this
of.
and then this to like 0.2,
Okay.
there should be a significant difference. Unless I'm thinking about it in terms of time. Actually, as you can see, it kind of flattens out, right?
Hmm.
I'm I might be thinking about time instead. Let me check on my side. Give me a check.
Okay.
Because the T might be the thing that needs to be. Because I can't remember if it's the T or the entire thing.
Right.
Let me check. Is this correct? Like, is this like?
Hang on, eh. Uh, I realize I'm not looking at your screen anymore. Just a moment.
Oh, sorry.
Are you still sharing?
Yeah, I'm still sharing.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if it's T 0.5. Yeah, you can get like interesting shape like this, which it
Look
might be
at
better for your
that.
thing. Yeah. So this one might be better for yours actually. Like
Hmm.
but also like just doing the which just because because I did almost the exact same thing that you did for one of my stuff. So I'm trying to remember exactly what. Oh yeah. The other suggestion that I have which might be even better actually
Uh huh.
is like I can actually show you like what I did for my tongue
Okay.
for the tongue thing. Just show you. You notice that the tongue has a wow, it's kind of hard to see, but like there's actually like it actually bends,
Yeah.
back and forth. The way I did it was using a Bezier curve.
Yes.
Yeah, so Bezier curve might be better for yours because then you get a lot of more control over it. So that's what I will actually use for that kind of thing a lot
Bezier
more.
curve.
Yeah, and it's basically just this. Let me just show you in my helpers class. Bezier or Bezier or Bezier or I don't know.
Hmm.
Like it's just this. It's just LUP inside LUP.
Ah. Okay.
Then you can have a very uh defined control over exact. Oh wait, can I show you one more thing?
Yeah.
Because I think
Sure.
this actually super useful. Let
Okay.
me go to my profile. I retweeted something recently, about interpolation. There we go. This thing.
Hmm. Let me
Yeah.
note that down. I'm actually taking notes at the moment.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
let's
like you
see.
see, yeah, you see
Those are
stuff
the
like
control points, right? Okay.
yeah, these are the control points, but you can do stuff like this. And you can
Mm.
like, and if you want to, you can like make very very precise Bezier curves,
Yeah.
and that, and you can do it very easily. So I actually have a few simple functions in my framework that I put in every project I use, so that I
Right.
can make Bezier curves very easily.
That's cool.
And
We do have
yeah.
a module about splines in DigiPen, right? So this is a good revision.
Oh, there is a module
There
about
is. Oh,
splines.
yeah. Yeah, I had it
Yeah.
under Dr. Yan, but that was like a
Oh,
long
really?
time ago. Yeah, yeah.
Ah. I basically did I basically studied most of the interpolation numeric spring stuff on my own.
Ah, I see, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
But
this
it
looks
is
very familiar. It's awesome.
super useful, yeah.
Yeah.
So this might actually be better for that because then you got specific control over your. I mean, it's a very it's just for like a very simple. Oh no, sorry. Okay. Oh no,
Oh no.
no. Okay, yeah, but like but it makes sense, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that might look a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. That's super cool. I'll give it I'll think about it. Like if how do I put it? If I have the time for it, right, then I will
Mm-hmm.
definitely try and implement that. But if
Can I
not,
ask?
then I will focus on the other stuff first.
Sure, sure.
Mm.
But can I ask for like a grass, right? How
Yeah.
do you do the rotation thing? Was it
What
numeric springing
what
or
rotation? Which one?
like the grass when you walk past it, it will like point?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's just I'm using the basic physics integration. All right, there's
Oh,
so hang on, I mean basically how we do our normal physics, right? Which is what the acceleration affects the velocity affects the position, right?
yeah, yeah,
I kind of make it such that the gravity. So I have basically the grass is just it's just a polygon, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I have control over the position of each one. So what I want to do is I want to
Yeah.
apply like so-called quote unquote physics onto the top two vertices. So then what
Mm-hmm.
is done is I apply like a velocity onto these two vertices, and then the gravity, right, is always determined by its displacement from the center point. So that's all there is.
Oh,
That's all there is.
I
So
see.
essentially, when it is here, right, the gravity will pull it this way. When it is here, the gravity will pull it back, and that's how it's
Oh,
done. Yeah.
okay. I never thought of doing it like that.
Mm.
Uh, do you know about the numeric springing? It's
So
really really
I'm
cool.
I'm not entirely sure what the numeric springing meant, right? It's like
Oh,
how does
okay.
it look?
Oh, let me show you. Let me show you. It's really sorry. I have to switch my screen again.
It's
Sorry.
okay. It's okay.
Here we go. There's this thing by Alan Cho. I think this guy is a Digipad graduate also.
Oh,
Game Maths Precise in the US Digipen.
I see. I see.
Wait, is it loading? Oh, it is. It is.
Alan
Game
Cho.
Maths Precise Control over Numeric Springing.
Yes.
Can do this kind of stuff. And like, so this is the formula for it. So I just yoinked that and I put it in Game Maker and Unity actually.
Oh, that's fancy.
But let me show you like some examples of this. Ah, here you go. Examples.
Okay.
This is gonna take a while to load. I don't know why. The website's a bit slow. But wait, it's loading. Ah, there you go. There you go.
Hmm.
So you can do stuff like positional springing like this, right?
Right.
And you can do stuff like rotational springing like that. So in the case of your grass thing, right?
Hmm.
I actually did something like that, but I used a procedural mesh, so I made it so that it's Bezier integrated. So actually, the reason why I wanted to show you this because if you put this spring thing in your game maker, I think could because you wanted to do some bouncy effects, right?
Yes.
I think this will help you a lot because I think this one has a lot of if you like just one simple function
Hmm.
that takes out a velocity and f- and and a value, right? A value and a velocity.
Right. Do you mind?
So
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Continue,
sorry,
please.
sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see, you can actually do like stuff like animation springing. You can do orientational spring like that.
Hmm.
And this stuff, if you put it into Game Maker, you can apply it on any of those things very, very easily. So it's like just one liner. I don't know, the grass maybe it was maybe a few lines, but then this one can make it like so that you can apply it to everything that you have, which is what I do for mine actually.
It's very fancy.
Yeah,
I noticed some of the like some of the movement patterns. Like if you do you mind scrolling down a little bit?
yeah, sure.
Uh,
Here,
the green part. No, not this
yeah,
one. No, that's the positioner something. I forgot what it says.
positional. Here.
Oh, I see. Right. That that behavior, right? I use a lot. But I do it through a training library, right?
Oh,
There's this particular curve, right, called east out back. That is exactly what I
yeah.
use. Yeah.
So I enjoy that. The
Mm.
reason why I enjoy this more though
Mm-hmm.
is because this is completely dynamic, meaning that if the velocity or the position changes mid movement, right,
Mm.
it will adjust accordingly.
Oh, that's fancy.
Which is super useful. It's super useful. So
Oh,
imagine if you're grass, right? You walk past it and you walk past again immediately, right?
yeah.
In your case, it will work because you do the velocity thing, which is basically this actually.
Mm.
But this is a more compartmentalized approach. But
Mm.
if you had this, basically you can make it just go back and forth dynamically. So if like for
Right.
example you're going up here, then for example you click here, then you immediately click here, right? You will stretch out a bit, then spin back, and then bounce a bit, something like that.
Oh, that's very handy, man.
Yeah, it's super cool. Actually, I'll post this in your Twitch chat.
AlanCho.net, right? I wrote it down. Hey, thank you. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
posting that. Numerical
The
springing, eh?
Actually, I really miss Game Maker's ability to modify vertices so easily.
It's
Mm.
it kind of just
Uh,
exposes everything to you, right? But of course, performance is a different matter.
Actually, it's not.
It's not that bad.
It's really not that bad compared to because I've done it in Unity also, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's also quite expensive in Unity as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Because I've done the same thing that you did in Unity, but it's a lot more painful. So Game Maker is like I really miss that.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry.
Oh, 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 oh.
Sorry. Um. Oh wait. Let me. Okay. There.
Okay.
So, the other thing I wanted to ask, right? Because,
Yes.
you said that you wanted to add some more juice to like the various elements. Wait. Sorry. Did I interrupt? Like because I was just curious because, but I wasn't sure whether you finished talking about all the stuff that you implemented.
Oh no, I just only have like one thing to go. But what my face is frozen up. What? Okay.
Oh what?
Anyways, nah, it's my usual thing. My computer is not super
Oh
powerful.
okay. I
Yeah,
see.
but yeah, you can go ahead and ask first, right? Before I talk about the next thing.
Um, so like you wanted to do this kind of like additional polish and juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
The I think the noise effect is good. It's just that it might be a bit too much.
Too much,
Is
eh?
there
Okay.
like how do you do it? Do you use a shader or like
No,
ambient
no.
noise or
I literally make a noise texture, right, and then overlay it on top.
mm-hmm. Or then you move
All I did was
yeah?
hang on, eh? Why is it not working? Ah! Okay, there
There
you
it
go.
is.
It's just a noise texture, right? I
Yeah.
blend it on top, alpha blended, and then I just change the orientation of the noise texture to give it like the illusion of motion.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I see.
So it's all faked. It's all smokes and mirrors.
Hmm. I was thinking like for your game specifically, what might be nice is a limited color palette. So you remember the fog effect that I did for mine previously on
Fog effect.
the one where like everything is glitching out towards the edges of the screen.
Right. Yes.
I don't know if you
The kind
remember
of
that
like
one.
acid burning
Yeah,
kind of thing, right?
acid knife
Acid.
the same effect.
Right.
Maybe you could do that for this because I was messing around with Game Maker before and limited color palettes are pretty easy to do. At least
Hmm.
that's what I did for my game. I had a limited color palette system for my Game Maker game as well.
Okay.
Um, and it was
Oh,
quite
when
easy
you
to do.
say
So,
limited color palette, do you mean like you apply post processing shader and then kind of
mm,
toss the pixel into these various buckets?
yeah. Then I gave the player the ability to change the color scheme as well if they wanted to.
Ah. Okay.
And it
Okay.
was,
I
I
I
mean, I
I
don't know how much effort that will be on your part
I,
though. That's the
I
thing.
do have like one concern. So it's that I want this to run on mobile, and I have
Mm-hmm.
tried like a post processing shader before. So like in serious
Mm,
scramblers, right? You know, when you lose, the
mm-hmm.
entire screen turns black and white. And on
Mm-hmm.
certain devices, right? On for example the iPad Mini, one of the
Mm-hmm.
iPad Mini, the older ones, it 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 kills the frame rate by like half. It goes from 60 to 30, and I have no idea why. So I'm just afraid that applying this screen wide post processing shader, right, could be an issue for mobile.
So it just turned it black and white, and then it just died on the iPad
Yeah,
mini?
So basically, I drew it onto a surface, right, and then I applied a shader. So I bring it to the HSV space, and then I just set the saturation to 0. That alone kind of kills the frame rate for some reason. It's not even that
Oh,
expensive.
really? It isn't that expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
like,
yeah, it's only
yeah,
on
the
that one
thing is,
device. That's the thing.
oh, okay. You know
Yeah.
Downwell, right? Downwell, the
Yes.
game maker game.
Uh-huh.
It also like had different color palettes, and I mean the way that it did it is just mapped the color space onto a texture, and then after that it just grab whatever value it was.
Right. Wait,
Like if
you're
it's
saying
like
that
darker,
that
then
one is done through shader as well?
yeah, that was done through shader for game maker.
Oh.
Um, maybe, but then the thing is, that one runs on everything though. Maybe,
Why is
but
that?
maybe there's a problem with the iPad Mini or something.
Right.
But
Could be
I'm
because
not
it's
sure.
not an issue exclusive to my game, right? So
Oh, okay.
I've discussed this with gentle bros before, right? Apparently they had issues on that particular device as well.
Oh, but they use Unity though. Like
They use
so
Unity.
even
So maybe
like
it's just that that device is not that great. I'm not sure.
I
I'm not
see.
sure. Yeah. So what I'm saying is because I want it to run on as much as possible. I want it to run on like various devices, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
go overboard with post processing effects.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Mm.
Um maybe for the because I'm trying to think about how to make the noise look maybe a bit better.
Hmm.
Maybe it might be better to put it at the edges or only on certain. If you put it on only on certain walls, you need a surface for that though.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
that fine?
I yet to test it. Maybe
Oh, okay.
I need to see. Like maybe the size of the surface could be a factor
Yeah.
for the performance. Yeah. So I have to test that
Yeah.
out as well.
I think the it looks like a nice effect. It's just that I'm afraid it might get a bit noisy
Mm.
if it's applied everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to tweak the alpha value a bit and see how that ends up looking. Yeah.
Yeah. It gives a very nice like you know those old screens kind of like no not CRT screens CRT TV screens. They have
Hmm.
some noise to them, right?
Yeah.
This looks like akin to that, which is nice. And I
Ah,
also
I see.
noticed you have scan lines, right? Is that just my imagination or like?
Oh yeah, those are scan lines, but it's only like done in the far background.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, it's only done in the far background. Basically, I have this tout arrows, right? I
Mm-hmm.
thought like adding some scan lines would make it look a bit fancier. Again,
Yeah,
right?
it looks great.
I have not actually tested it. Like performance wise. So I have a pretty low end Samsung phone. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably going to test it soon and see if everything runs okay. So I would like to make. I mean, how do I put it? I
Mm-hmm.
want this low end device, right, to act as a benchmark. Basically, I'm going to make sure that whatever I make can run on this low end device, and hopefully that means I end up covering like most of the devices in the market.
Ah, I see. How
Yeah.
hard is it to export for mobile from GameMaker? I actually don't know because I never tried it.
It's oh man, the compilation time is
Oh, I see.
yeah. So basically, I would want you would want to switch to YYC basically. So that
Yeah,
allows you to achieve maximum performance.
I see.
Then it's once you click it, you just wait a few minutes.
A few
And
minutes.
a
But
few minutes. Yeah.
I had like some friends who were making like open world game in GameMaker, and the compilation time was half an hour.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but theirs is a different case, I guess, because they're
Yeah,
making like a
the
huge
scope
game
of the
world.
game is big. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Yeah, it's scary sometimes. So my experience with developing for Android via GameMaker is it's just a lot of waiting. I I'm
I
not a
think it's
fan
the
of
same
it.
everywhere though. I think
Sorry?
it's the same everywhere.
It's the same
I think
everywhere.
it's the same. Yeah. For me, for Unity, it's like a few minutes or so. That's the thing.
Oh man.
I
Oh
think
man.
maybe a bit less than GameMaker, but like. it's still pretty bad.
Mm.
Yeah, like it's still pretty bad. But yeah, like you said, there was like one more thing you wanted to show off.
Oh right, that's right, that's right. This one again, right? So again, I'm not entirely sure. I'm like overthinking some of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just so you notice this box here?
Yeah.
This box is how do I put it? Hang on. Let me just go here. Okay, so I have a box in the middle of the screen, right? This is what I call the highlighter. So whatever button, right, is inside the box, the additional detail will show. So you
Mm-hmm.
can see that, oh no, this is like you collected 37 out of 82 collectibles or something like that,
Right.
right? The issue is how do I put it? The design intention, right, is for this is for all of these lines here, right, all of these boxes here to be invisible, right? So it's supposed to feel natural. The thing
Yeah.
is if so the game remembers what world you went to last, right? So
Yeah.
if I go to the very first level, then this is how the screen will look like. The button like labeled 1, right, will not be in the center of the screen because I don't want
Yeah.
the bottom half of the screen to be completely empty. That's one thing, right? Which means that the
Mm-hmm.
highlighter has to be like at the bottom.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I want the focus, right, eventually, right, to be on the center of the screen. So which means
Right.
as you scroll down, right, the box goes up. If you scroll the other direction, it doesn't move, lah. But something like that.
I think that's okay actually. I
You
think
think
that's
that's
a
okay?
pretty elegant. I think that's a pretty elegant solution.
Oh, then I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
likewise,
think it's
in
good.
if you click on the last one, right, then
Mm-hmm.
again, right, the knife shouldn't be in the middle of the screen because then there's this
Yeah.
whole bunch of space on top. So then the highlighter is on top. If you scroll
Mm-hmm.
opposite in the wrong direction, right, the box doesn't move. But if you scroll down, then it moves towards the center.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is I want all of this to be as invisible as possible. But yeah, hopefully it's okay. Hopefully it's
I
okay.
I I guess it's like a technical solution versus a design solution. Because for me, right, I would have been super lazy, and you know what I would have done?
Uh-huh.
I would have made it so that it's okay to have the one in the middle of the screen by placing the main character at the bottom of the screen looking upwards, or something like that.
I see.
Yeah. So that way it's like, oh, it's like, oh, the main character is about to start his journey, and you get to see something, but it's still okay for the one to be in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, and that kills two birds with one stone, right? Adding personality to the
Yeah.
game as well. Yeah, I can consider that as well. Let me think about that.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I find like nowadays I guess because we are both programmers, we tend to think of like very technical solutions, and I keep doing that also. Like I keep thinking of technical solution, but nowadays I try force myself to be as lazy as possible, and actually gets
Because
the
sometimes you
result.
actually end up with something more cool, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to just fix it technically. Yeah.
I guess it's very much dependent on the
Yeah, on the problem and
yeah.
like yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool. So again, right? I don't have a lot to talk about. So this is the final thing, that I have to show. I think for me
Mm-hmm.
next week, right? I will let me think. Oh man, I still have one more week of grading. Let me think.
Oh no.
I
No.
spent my entire Chinese New Year grading papers. Oh
Oh
my god.
really?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
that
That's
sucks.
sucks, man. But
Oh
let me think.
no.
Let me think what I want to do. I have this issue, right? So at the moment I have about wait, how many levels do I have?
Oh, there's a lot of levels. Wow.
Okay, I have about 39 levels at the moment. Not too many lah. 39 only.
Mm.
But I'm starting to feel like how do I put it? When I design the levels, I don't design them in sequence, right? I don't say like, oh, I'm going to design the first level first, and then then
Yeah.
second level, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Usually it doesn't work like that, right? So we
Yeah.
all know that. Yeah. But so I've got to the point where I needed to pick out the right levels for the first world and the second world, and so on and so forth. And I
Mm-hmm.
realize it's a bit difficult to do it. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out some way, right, of organizing or displaying the available levels, right, by tags. So tags like does it have spikes in there? Does it have cannons in there?
Ah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of like how I should go about doing that. Yeah.
There was a GDC talk about like organizing levels, I think. It was
Oh.
either the N plus plus talk or the Celeste level design talk. I can't remember which one. But they had like I think both of them use a similar approach where they actually, like you said, they kind of arrange their levels by tags, like what kind of mechanics are prevalent in them,
Mm,
because they want to teach a mechanic. Like for me, I also do the same thing where I try to teach a mechanic, and then and then make it more advanced. Then after that, mix it with others. It's like everybody does that.
mm,
Um, and I'm guessing you'd also do that for this.
right.
So I think might be good to check out those talks. I'm trying to remember exactly which one it is.
Is it a
Yeah, I
recent
can't
talk?
remember. It's either the N plus plus one or the Celeste one, because they talk about how they arrange it. The Celeste one actually has a specific way of how he arranged the levels.
Right.
Um, so that like he also didn't design in order, but then he was able to match them up because he had an overworld editor where he could see all the levels like
Ah,
at a glance, you know.
right, right.
And that might be more useful for you. I don't know if that's what you meant just now, but like what I did for my game maker game, right, which might be a bit unorthodox, right,
Okay.
is I actually made it so that I automatically can print out an image of all of the levels.
Print out an image of. Ah, I see, I see, I see.
Yeah. And I during playtesting, this is just an extension of that, but during playtesting I actually made it so that it is a side benefit. You
Mhm.
can make it so that you can see exactly where they jump to, what path they take, and how they die by drawing onto the texture.
You
That's
mean
what I did as
the
well.
player's action?
Yeah, so that's
Ah,
what I did for
so
playtesting.
you
That's a
create.
side benefit.
That's cool. Then you have a heat map, right? That you can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
like
yeah,
if
heat
there's
map,
a.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's what I
Ah,
did. But also in your case, I think this will be specifically useful because then you can see all the levels at one glance without having to go through each level inside the editor.
yeah, that's very true.
And
That's
it'll
very
probably be
true.
easier to code that than doing the tags, I think. I'm not sure. Is it? And I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm. Maybe, but then again, I still have to scan through like 99 pictures, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
if I
yeah.
make 99 levels, I have to end up scanning through 99 pictures.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I think there's no easy way of doing it, like for a large
Yeah.
amount of levels.
Yeah, that's
It's just
true.
which way is like slightly a bit easier.
Hmm.
But all in all, you still have to scan through all of the levels in the end.
Yeah, that's very true. I actually have one problem, right? It's that uh in serious scramblers, so it's my previous game, right? All of the levels are linearly sequenced. So you have to beat the first level before you can go on to the second. Then you
Right,
have to beat the second before you go on to the third. Um,
right.
and my game is not easy. So what end up happening, especially on mobile, right, is that
Yeah,
once people get stuck, right, they move on. They
right.
move on to the next thing, right? Uh, so because of that, right, this time round, I'm thinking of adopting a more Mario 64 approach, which is that
Mm-hmm.
the you cannot see it here now, but the first level will be unlocked, and then the rest are all locked. They are
Yeah.
locked. Basically, they are gated by the number of collectibles you have.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to collect like a certain number in order to get access to the next world, and so on and
Yep.
so forth, right?
Yep.
So that means when you go into each of the world, right? You
Yeah.
don't really have to play any of this level in sequence in any specific sequence. You can just play any one you want. But then that
Mm-hmm.
means, right, I have certain tutorial levels that it becomes a problem, right? How do I ensure that the player uh,
Hmm.
go to the
That's a
tutorial level
tough
first?
one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I can fix it in a very naive and straightforward manner, right? Which is that I end up locking some of the levels. But then that kind of, how do I put it? I'm not sure if that's an elegant solution, is what I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
think Super Meat Boy did a similar solution where they had the worlds, right?
Hmm.
And the worlds are linear,
Yes.
like they are gated off, but you only have to defeat a specific number of levels before you can open up the next world.
Right, but what do they do about tutorial levels again? Like, there are levels
Like
that you have to finish, right?
you have to finish one level after the other, but in order to unlock the boss for the stage, which you have to beat to get to the next stage,
Yes.
you don't have to defeat all the levels.
I see, I see.
Yeah, I I can't remember if that's exactly how it worked, but I remember it was like quite good because like you didn't need to be a perfectionist about it, but
Mm.
you could still finish each stage. I would recommend like maybe checking out Super Meat Boy's one. Or I think they have a sequel out now, right? Super Meat Boy
Yeah,
Forever.
but it's a completely different game though.
Oh, it is?
It
I
is
don't know.
the gameplay is different. It's the second one is apparently an endless not endless runner, but it's in the format of an endless runner, right? Or rather, it's not
Oh.
endless runner, auto runner.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. It's
I didn't
a
know that.
very interesting approach, right? You wouldn't expect them to take this approach after the first game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I maybe check out Super Meat Boy because I think they did it quite well for that one.
I'll go check it out. It's currently in my Steam, in my Steam backlog. I played a bit of it, but I don't actually remember how they structure their levels anymore. Yeah, so it's time to go back,
Yeah,
I guess.
there's also this game called Run Gun Jump Gun. Have you heard of it?
Run gun jump gun sounds familiar. What is it about?
It's this game where you can only shoot right or shoot down. If you shoot down, then you get propelled upwards. And it's kind of like you it's an auto runner,
Right.
and you have to get a specific number of gems in order to unlock the next thing.
Specific number of oh,
Yeah, to unlock the next world.
this one, eh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so like you don't need to perfect all the levels, but you need to do them somewhat competently or at least master some of the levels. So I think that system of like, oh, you need a certain amount of gems in order to unlock the next large area, I think that's a very good approach, especially for your game.
Hmm. Okay, okay.
Yeah, and because your game seems like very pick up and play, arcadey, uh you die quick but you can try quick again kind of game, right?
Yeah.
If it's like that, then it fits in the mold of like the Run Gun Jump Gun or like Super Meat Boy. Or yeah, I think it might fit. Where you have because like if you play for a bit, you get one more gem or two more gems in
Yeah.
the level, then you
Yeah.
can stop playing for a bit. It suits the gameplay very well, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So I do have that I do have that implemented lor. Yeah, but the biggest concern is how does tutorial levels fit in here, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I still think it should be linear in some way to solve that
In some
problem.
ways, huh? Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm still not sure how though. Like
So I think
it.
John suggested to me before that he said, why don't you just have like a world, right, with all of the
Mhm.
tutorial levels, like, and then it doesn't
Yeah.
have to have 9 levels. It's just like maybe three levels or something. I guess
But
I
then
can do that.
but those are completely linear, is it?
Uh, yes.
That will, but I mean, that's not a huge problem, but wouldn't that be like
It's,
breaking the pattern of the other levels
I
though?
know, right? It's a bit
It's a
it's
bit,
drastically different, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
That might, it might not seem like a big deal, but that might make the player think at first that it's gonna be linear. Then when you see this, they kind of
Or I can make it
weird it
such
out.
that the levels are just only teach one thing. That way, right, you can play them out of order. That works too, right? So this one teaches wall jumping. So there's nothing you
Mm-hmm.
can do unless you jump against the wall and jump out again,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And then this one teaches oh, this is another wall jumping. Whoops, hang on. I have one that makes you hold down the jump button, like this one.
Oh, okay.
Right, this one you have to hold down the jump button,
Right.
right? And then there is another one that makes you do a light tap.
Oh, nice.
So I guess like these three of these levels can be its own world, right? Maybe.
Um, yeah, but like, do all the worlds have the same number of
At the moment,
rooms?
yes, all 9 levels. Um,
Yeah, it seems like a tricky problem.
hmm, yeah. But I guess like if it's a tutorial level, I suppose I don't need to. It doesn't have to adhere to the rest of the
I guess not.
pattern,
Like,
right?
how about this? What if you
Hmm.
just made it completely separate? Like, like, um, like it's not part of the world.
It's not part of
I
the
think
world.
the problem is that it is part of the world, right?
Mm.
Is if there's some way to kind of like like um make it visually different from this in this section of the like in this overworld, if you can make it visually different from the rest of the levels, maybe that will be enough
Ah,
to show that it's special in that way.
true, 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 true. True. I mean, it could just be a button, but it looks somewhat different, right?
Yeah. Like that might be
Hmm.
enough.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Let me take that into consideration. I think that's
I
a
have a
good idea.
question though, like
Yes.
how do you do your playtesting? Because I'm starting to do it right now
Oh, how
actually.
do I do my playtesting? Usually with playtesting, right, I once I have something that I think works, I will the first round of testing I only test it with like one or two people
Right.
that I'm close with and that I'm sure right can give me honest feedback. So that's the first round, right?
Yeah.
And afterwards,
Yeah.
once I've taken into consideration the feedback, uh, I will then release it to more people. So in my case, since it's a mobile game, right, I would use the test flight. I'll use test flight.
Yeah.
There is a now like they make some changes, right? So you can actually send people a URL and that works, which is perfect. Um,
Mm.
then I will just post that link onto Twitter. So then anyone who can
Wait, when did they make this change?
when did they make this change? I think
Yeah.
just last year or 2 years ago, around there.
Oh,
Uh,
that will explain why I didn't have that.
it used to be super troublesome. You have to invite
Oh,
manually, right?
troublesome,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But now there is a public URL, which is a welcome
Oh,
change,
okay.
right? So it's now
Yeah.
more comparable to Google Place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the second phase. Then at some point, right, like with Space Jack, once we are sure we can show this to more people, right, then we reach out to anyone who can help. So we reach out to NYP, we reach out to DigiPen, and then we conduct playtests. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but for online playtests, I do have a link in my game, right? That asks the people to give feedback. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I guess that is handy in its own ways, but I think nothing beats face to face playtest
Yeah.
sessions. Yeah, yeah. So
Because I asked the question because I'm wondering how I should do mine as well.
mm,
Um, it's a bit
I mean, you
bit
have your
tough to
own
figure.
community, right? So I guess you
I
can
do.
share with them first, right?
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. But
Mm.
like probably for probably a few months until I get a bunch of levels out and a bunch of stuff out. Uh After that but I want to kind of plan in advance first, like how I'm gonna proceed with and then actually right now, because I think I'm also going to start figuring out like for playtesting, do I want forms? Do I want to just ask them questions, etc. etc. Because I think
Ah.
this is quite important, so that's why I'm trying to just, invest some thought into it. Maybe try out a few for me, right? I don't know about you,
Mhm.
but for me, every single game that I make, right,
Yes.
it feels like the playtesting has to be slightly different, the approach. If
Okay.
depending on the kind of game it is, and depending on like the kind of people you're getting to playtest,
Yeah.
it's very, very slightly different. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Uh,
But yeah.
yeah. I mean, every game there is certain things that we want to look out for. So I think with Space Jack, one of the biggest problem that we have. So Space Jack is this action tower defense game that we make. So we basically mash the action genre with the tower defense genre, and then
Yeah, I
see
know.
how people react to it. So one of the biggest issue we have was
Mm-hmm.
readability, because the thing is with Space Jack, right, the biggest challenge is uh, alerting the player to events that is happening outside of the screen, because that happens a lot
Oh,
in the game. So you
okay.
are this lone engineer, right, and you have to
Yes.
protect your entire ship from aliens. So there are like three arenas. Each arenas can be attacked in any sequence. So while you're in one arena, right, you on the screen you only see one arena. But while you're defending that particular arena, another arena can get attacked, and so we have to do a lot to draw players' attention to it. Um, so uh, uh, when we do the play testing, right, what we do is we just stand behind the player, right, and then we keep staring and see if they notice it. Like we try to not bring attention to that thing. We don't tell the player like, hey, do you notice this, or hey, do you notice that, right? We just keep quiet and watch it, and if they don't react to it, right, we know we're failed, right? So we have to redo that particular aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the more attention we bring to the particular issue, right, the less uh the less accurate the playtesting result would be.
Yeah, but that actually brings to mind something interesting because uh, somebody in my chat just says add leaderboard so that we can grind the playtest. I'm not sure if he's joking or not, but that reminded me of something when I was in Digipen for my final year project, right?
Yes.
Before I graduated, I made a game in Game Maker,
Yes.
and before that I was working in Unity, and I was trying to find out how to garner playtest results. So when I actually interned at Bushy Road, right?
Yes.
We also did a lot of like data collection and stuff like that. I won't go
Okay.
into the specifics, but it made me realize that it might be better, especially now in COVID times, to have certain triggers or certain listeners
Uh-huh.
and alert a server to see how long they take to figure out, oh, there's a leaderboard, or oh, there's this thing. And that might
Ah.
be a viable option if I can't watch them, which I can't because you know.
Wait. Can you repeat? Like, what's this leaderboard thing got to do with the, like?
Oh no, because I was thinking like maybe instead of just leaderboards, I can probably send data to a specific server, um, and that server can record like, oh, how long did they take to finish this level? How long did it?
Ah.
How many times did they die? How many times did this happen? How many
Yes.
times did
Yes.
that happen?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you do that for your games, but
I did it for Serious Scramblers, and I found that level 16, a lot of people stop playing the game because it's too difficult. So
I
something like
see, I
that, lah.
see.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, data collection is important. Yeah, that's true. That's
It
true.
is, yeah.
In
Something
fact,
that I think is overlooked.
that's true.
A lot
But
of indie.
the thing is, I think the mindset of the players are also important, right? I feel like for some
Yeah.
reason, for Flash and for mobile, right, you collect this data. I think people are generally fine with it. But if you do that on PC games, right, I think there is a group of people that would not be pleased about it. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but it felt that
Is that
way to
true?
me.
I mean, if they're in the beta, will it still be matter? Will that still matter?
Say again.
If they're in like a beta or an alpha testing, will that still matter?
Oh,
Like, I'm assuming that if they're signing up for testing, they will assume that they'll at least be more okay with it, you know?
yeah, perhaps, or maybe some kind of a screen telling them that their playing pattern will be recorded or something. I'm not
There's
entirely sure.
also
Yeah.
there's also like so Jofa Games, who is in my chat right now, says
Yes.
you can use Steam to do like leaderboards and stuff like that, but you don't actually have to release the game on Steam. Like you can just upload it, then you can use it for beta testing.
Ah,
Is that Do you know anything about that?
you can have a store page. You can
Mm-hmm.
you can upload your game to Steam, right? Then you have a depot just for beta testing, and then you can send people keys, and then you have the option, right, of revoking that particular key once your game goes live, or you can just let people keep your game for free. So you have all these options available to you.
Oh, I see.
Mm.
Jofa is saying that you don't even need to upload it. You just get the app ID, put the text file at the root with the app ID,
Oh,
and then you can just use the leaderboards. You don't even need to.
that
You
I'm
don't
not
even need
aware
to.
of. That's super cool.
Uh, that seems pretty cool. Then I
Yeah,
can
that's
just
very
probably
cool.
use that for like some. Yeah, that seems pretty useful.
Oh, hang on. I realized Joffer also left a comment here. What if instead of a world map, oh, this is about the world selection screen, I think. Instead of a world map, the level select was a date with your robot G. Huh? And every time you
Uh,
succeed, you give a smooth line and she get closest. Wait, I don't get it.
Did he post something stupid again? Jofar, Jofar. Let me read. Oh my. Okay, yeah. Ignore him. Just ignore him. Just ignore him. It's fine.
What is consent.exe?
Jofar, Jofar, stop.
I see, I see. Okay, okay.
Jofa is the most chaotic person in my chat. I'm sorry he's now in your chat also.
No, that's all right. That's fun. That's fun.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, then I guess actually that will be part of my plans for next week as well then. If that's the case. I wanna try to see if I can get down to the like what Jofa said. Not sure if that's a good idea to start this early. But if it's gonna help me with like some data collection stuff, I'm gonna have to look into it basically.
Right.
I have to look into it.
With I'm not with mobile, right? There's this third party solutions called the game analytics. So I tend to use
Mhm.
that, but I think a lot of people use Firebase as well. All right, Google's
Oh yeah.
Firebase. Yeah.
There's one more thing I wanted to point out that might be super useful for you
Yes,
and for
yes.
me also.
Okay.
You know the commands design pattern, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, hang on.
Y-
I've forgotten about it already. I've heard of it, but I've forgotten about it. Yeah.
okay, so basically command design pattern is a arrayified method call, which basically okay, that's a weird way to say it. It's
Uh-huh.
basically like a way of recording your actions.
Yes.
So you know Braid, right? You can time travel in Braid, and that's how
Ah.
you do it. They just record actions. But this is super useful for data collection because basically you can record how the player plays the entire game from start to finish.
Ah, I
As
see, I
long as
see.
your game is deterministic, right? Which in your case yours is, and
Hmm.
mine is, you can basically literally ha- see how the player plays everything.
Hmm.
You can see in real time. You can speed it up. You can, you do whatever you want with it. And if I can get data, if I can store the data on some server or something, I can basically check. Oh, Joffa says I'm not sure Unity is deterministic. Um, yeah, that's true. I have to look into that. But GameMaker is.
Right.
Uh,
I
GameMaker is for
kind of
sure.
I kind of use delta time though, so I might have to like for example, if there is a slight difference in the delta time, then the position of the enemies, right, or certain objects might be different from like certain frame. I might have to look into that as well because I noticed.
That is
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I noticed, right. I have certain levels, and that's
Yeah.
super funny, right? Hang on. It's super weird. Hang on. I
Yeah,
have certain. Hmm?
it's like your spike wall problem. If the delta time was lower, then you wouldn't go into the spikes, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I have
Yeah.
one that is even more weird. Like you notice this enemies. If I let it
Yeah.
run for long enough, right, you see that they don't actually preserve the space between themselves, right?
Huh.
Yeah,
Oh
I,
yeah, yeah. Okay, I guess that will make sense if the delta time is. Was it?
I,
I wait.
I
Is
think
it?
I'm guessing it's the fluctuation of the frame rate, maybe, but I'm not super sure.
Oh, that seems a pain. um. uh, um. Actually, for my case, I think it's not a problem. Now I just realized
Okay.
because I can record the actions because I coded in my because like it's C sharp. It's like pretty easy to like record the actions of the enemies as well. So
Okay.
that will probably make up for any difference. So if like there's a trigger, I will know that the trigger happens at that time at least.
Right.
So it won't solve it completely, but it will reduce the problem significantly. Also,
Right.
Jofa says, this is posted from the documentation. You can achieve deterministic physics with a soft restart on the same machine, but not on different machines because of the difference in compilers and CPUs. Yeah, that sounds like
Oh
a no
man.
go for me. No go for me.
Sometimes
That
when you
means like
you don't really want
yeah.
to think about things on such low level sometimes.
Yeah, I don't
Oh
want to,
man.
but it will be so useful though for data collection since we are talking about it.
That's true. That's true. Hmm.
I mean, worst case comes to worst case, I can just grab the world positions,
Yeah, yeah.
every like update, like not every update load obviously, but like every second or so,
Mm-mm.
and then after just interpolate so that I can know what the player is playing through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think yeah,
Mhm.
I think that probably sums. Do you have anything else you want to add, or
Oh,
I
I'm
don't think I
I'm
have
I
anything else.
think I think I'm done with my presentation. How about you? Do you
Nice.
still have anything?
I don't think so. Like given me a lot to chew on, but I think for me, I'm still gonna stick to my mechanics thing. But I also wanna see about the Steam leaderboards thing. That seems seems super useful.
Mm-mm.
And then probably I'm probably just getting all the mechanics up next week. I don't think that's gonna change.
Right.
That and was there something else that I said? I was like get all the mechanics up, and yeah, I
You
can't
you
remember.
you had this list, right? To do list. You say that you can do like half
Yeah.
of it.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm referring to. But I was like, I think I said something like I was gonna do something else during this
Oh, something
during this
else.
talk. But I can't remember what it was. So I'll just do the list. I'll just do the list. There's a lot
Okay.
of stuff. I have to do like spikes, stumpy things. What? Conveyor belts. Fence. Oh, fence will be cool.
Hmm.
I want to do fence. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the fun part of game development where you can add like more and more and have it all interact with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah. That's super
Yep.
cool. Shall we call it?
Yeah, I think we should call it.
Yeah. So let me check. I think we went way over time, right?
I'm sorry about that. My
No,
bad,
that's
my
that's all
bad.
right. That's all right. I mean, John is not joining us today. Usually we keep it within an hour because John has something else on.
That's
And then
true.
sometimes I also have to work on other stuff. But today is
Mm.
fine. Today is fine. Um. Let's see. Will you be joining us again next week?
Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. So
I
next
think
week. Yeah.
I think it's good to like keep myself like accountable.
Yeah. And it's super fun to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about all of this. Yeah. It's super fun. But I'm
definitely.
going to apologize that my progress on my end will be pretty slow lah, because I have to juggle my part-time job.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course, of
okay.
course.
So same thing for John. So John and I are juggling part-time jobs and our own projects. So
Yeah,
we try to do as much as we can, but sometimes, right, sometimes because of like the sudden influx of work, our progress would be affected. Yeah.
yeah, adult stuff. Yeah. Luckily, I don't have to deal with much of that stuff yet because I just graduated and I have a bit of time,
I mean,
so
that's
I'm
great,
just
right?
like,
You're making
yeah,
perfect use of your time. It's awesome. Yeah.
I hope so.
That's awesome. Okay, so Amanda says, when can we play Test Jump Jobot? Amanda, I'm going to try to release an Android test build by the end of the month, hopefully. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for asking. But she then went on to
I saw that. Yeah, I
mock
saw.
me and say 1 month later still tweaking UI. Okay, okay. All right then. I guess we'll do this again next week. Next week same time, 3 p.m.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, then we'll talk again next Sunday, 3 p.m.
All right, thanks so much,
Yes,
Shinny.
thanks for the chat,
Let
man.
me
Thank
let
you.
me give you a shout out in my chat as well
Oh,
first.
then let me
You
do the
guys should
same.
you guys should check out Shinny. He does like a lot of really cool game development stuff on his stream.
Oh, whoever is here in my chat, right? You all should check out Chao. It's very talented individual.
Too kind.
Okay, okay. I guess I'll
Alright.
end it here. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, see y'all. Bye bye.
Bye.